Okay, Miss Lilian Birell. When did you arrive at Auburndale?
Well, we came to Auburndale in 1926, in June. And when we came here, there were no houses behind us. We didn't have a fence as we have now around the garden. It was just an open field, and there were cows. Because back towards the river is about half a quarter mile away, there was a farm, and the man had cows. And we used to get our milk from them. So now, of course, the cows are gone, and the place was sold for housing lots, and it's all very different.
Okay, and where was the address of your house?
The address of this house is 285 Lexington Street, Auburndale.
Okay. And why did you move to Auburndale?
Why did we move? Well, my father worked in Dorchester. He was really selling life insurance, and then his job was changed, and he was only in Boston, and he had charge of a school for the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company. So that meant we didn't have to live in Dorchester any longer. And I had an uncle who had a house in Newton, and he said it was a very convenient place to live. They had very good train service. So we decided to live in Newton.
Okay. And
so we looked for a house. When we were in Dorchester, we rented a place, but when we came here, we bought it.
Okay. What were you doing at the time when you moved? Were you going to school or were you working?
No, I was working. The others were all going to school, but I was working, and I worked in the city. I worked for an insurance company called Robert A. Boynton Company then, but it became Boyd, Dalton and Church, and now they've been absorbed by Frank Lee Hall Company, but they are still in operation. And I worked for them till I retired. I started working for them when I was 16 years old. So I worked for them a long time.
And what did you do at your job?
Oh, well, I was in the accounting department, and when we went, everything was by hand. Oh, we had big ledgers and everything. We didn't even have an adding machine. Then we got an adding machine, and then we switched over to bookkeeping machines. But I guess we switched over to a bookkeeping machine that was like a typewriter. And then they switched over to IBM, and now I presume it's all computers. So in the end, I really had charge of their accounting department.
Was this considered remarkable for a woman at this time?
Well, I would have got much further if I had been born a bit late. Today, it's quite different. Now, I remember when I was, Robert A. Boynton Company was taken over by, mostly by a man called Church, Frederick Church. And I remember him saying to me, well, he'd like to make me head of the accounting department, but he would never have a woman. And that was more or less his attitude anyway. And so they'd give you a man over you that didn't know what you knew. And they had quite a few men in the end.
Did you find this frustrating? Or?
No, I didn't care very much. It was the usual thing, you just thought, well, you're a woman, and that's the way the women are.
Mm-hmm. How did I presume this was in Boston, this job.
This was in Boston.
Now, how did you commute?
By train. And we had wonderful train service in those days. I don't know, I haven't been on the train for years, but I think maybe they have about 3 each way a day. And in those days they had about 30 each way a day, because there was no other way to commute really. You could go to Lake Street, and then they had streetcars that ran down the middle part there, where they go trotting today, jogging I mean today. And they had open cars at that time when we came. You go down at Lake Street and you went to Narragansett Park in open cars. In fact, when we first came here, there were streetcars on this street that went to Auburndale, but they took them off and had buses. We knew they were going to do that, but there were streetcars in 1926.
Mm-hmm. What were the trains like the interior?
Well, they were kind of cold in the winter and very hot in the summer. And we opened the windows and all the dirt came in because it had been cold in those days. So it was kind of a dirty ride, especially in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But they ran. There would be a midnight train, so we sometimes went to the theater and got the midnight train, stopped at Auburndale, and walked from the station here and thought nothing about it. I wouldn't do it now, but
I see.
the lights went out at 1 o'clock in those days. All the street lights went out at 1 o'clock. So I always wanted to get home before 1 o'clock because there would be no lights.
How long of a commute did it take you?
Well, it would take a good hour, because it took me 10 minutes to walk to the station and 10 minutes at the other time. It took about an hour.
Do you have any memorable trips or any instances that something occurred on board?
What, on board the train?
Mm-hmm.
No, except, in the cold weather, you would wait and wait and wait. Well, they do now, even on the MTA. And because they couldn't get up enough steam. In those days, the firemen had to go down and get the old engines and stoke them and get up steam. So it was a bit different from the diesels they have today. So that was something.
Okay. Earlier you had mentioned you had a remarkable trip coming back in 1938 with a
Oh, well, yes. Well, I remember that I was having company that night to dinner, and I had a sister home, and she was going to get the dinner together, and I think I set the table the night before, and of course I never arrived. And I was so worried that the train was so slow. And I had thought it was very windy going to the station. And here, they said there was a hurricane and so many trees had come down. And I wanted to get home in a hurry, so I had driven to the station that morning and parked the car down there on the street. There wasn't a parking lot. There were a few places, but not enough. And so after a long, long time, I got down and there was my car. There was a tree behind it and a tree in front of it, but it didn't hit the car. But I didn't get my car for a few days. because we had to wait till all the trees were taken off the road. It was a very bad hurricane. They're still quoted, the 38 hurricane.
Was there any damages to the house?
No. We had no, some people did, quite a few did, mostly by trees falling on the houses. Another hurricane did. We had a big tree in the garden, and that came down. But there was no damage to this house. Not at all. The only thing is, we had no electricity. It was September, and for 3 weeks we had no electricity.
What was life like without electricity?
Well, it wasn't so bad for us, because we had a gas stove, so it didn't make much difference. We had stove water, a kerosene lamp, well, you just couldn't do anything at night. But in those days, you didn't have television anyway, so you had a radio, but that was about it. So you just did without it. Well, I got to work all right. We went to work, and we had a gas stove, so we could cook. But those people that had no gas stove, that had electricity, had a hard time. But fortunately, it wasn't in the winter. It was September. So you could have an oil burner going. And we had oil by then. When we first came here, we had a coal stove, a coal furnace, because everybody else had them. And then we converted to oil. Now I have converted to gas, so.
What other conversions in the house and home improvements have you made?
Well, I had a bathroom put in the basement, and a new bathroom put in a whole bathroom put upstairs. I mean, they gutted out the old bathroom and put in a new one. So we haven't done much to this house, though.
So the house is pretty much the way it originally.
Yes, except the basement. We divided it off and put a tile floor in part of it.
In 1938, when you were describing the hurricane, you also claimed that you were driving a car. What kind of cars did you drive?
Oh, I was driving a car in 1926. When we moved, I think I got my license in about May 1926, and I drove here. I had to come out here, and we moved in June, so I was driving back and forth from Dorchester all the time. And I didn't think much about it. I had a Dodge, and I had a stick shift. They didn't have automatics. And in those days, the roads were not too good in the winter, so sometimes I didn't take it out. They'd put the car up for the winter, and we didn't use the car in the winter for a few years because, well, the roads were not very, they didn't plow them very well, and it wasn't very good driving. You get stuck. And the driving wasn't so very good then anyway, because the roads were not marked too well. I remember my father, he didn't drive. He had a national, one of those geographic maps or something, with little roads, and he was trying to tell me where to go. And those were horrible, because they didn't have roads and they didn't have route numbers so much.
You mentioned that your father worked for a life insurance company. Could you describe what his job was like? Could you remember?
Well, yes. He was really, English, and he had been to this country. He came over when he was 21, and he met my mother. And my mother's father was with a Metropolitan too. So they got married in Philadelphia. But when they had 2 children, he went back. I don't know, even that because he didn't feel well or something. And he got another job in the insurance business in Scotland. So my mother followed him a couple of years later. So they went over with 2 children and they brought back 6. He stayed there 16 years, and that's why I was born in Scotland. But actually they were English. So he was doing the same thing. He was selling life insurance. But then there was this job that he was offered, because he was really an intellectual, to train the new agents that they were hiring. And so he had a school in Boston to train all the new employees from New England. So he went there at that until he retired.
Did you commute to work with your father?
Oh my, I don't remember. He went on the train too, but whether he went on my train or another train, he probably went earlier than I did. I think he did. But he commuted. He never drove a car anyway.
Could you tell us a little about your mother?
Oh, my mother, because she came to this country when she was 9, and then she went back, and her family were all here. Well, she was just a housewife, really. They didn't work in those days, and she had plenty to do, just cooking and taking care of us. She died when she was 69. She wasn't too old. She seemed to get emphysema, and yet she never smoked, so I don't know.
What about your other sisters?
Well, the one you saw here, she's about...
What's her name?
Ethel. Her name she's about 2.5 years younger than I am. But she was 4 years behind me in school. That was the way they put me when I came here. When I came here, I was 14, but I've been to a very good school, sort of a private one. I don't know. It was called the Academy, and the teachers all wore caps and gowns and all this kind of stuff. I didn't think much about it. But I went to school here, to the Georgia High, and I was quite small. And I had nothing to say I had even been to school. And so they kept asking me what I had and what I hadn't. They said, well, you should be a senior, but we cannot make you a senior at 14 years old. So they made me a junior and let me take some senior subjects. So the result was that I graduated just over 16. But it isn't a very good idea because I was too young for the others, you know. Now she was put in her age, and so she was 4 years behind me. And then she went to what was at that time Boston Normal School. It's now part of the University of Massachusetts. And then she got a degree there, but she went to Boston University after that and got a master's degree, so she never really lived home. She taught in a Keene State College, and then she taught in Montclair State College too. She didn't teach in high school, she always taught in a college. And she was married too.
Was there anybody else in the family
Yes, I
that lived
had,
in the house?
well, I had an older sister, and she stayed home and kept house mostly. But she died before my father died. She died after my mother died, but she was only in her 50s when she died.
And about what year was this?
Oh, I don't know. Goodness gracious. My mother died in 1939. She probably died around 1943. So she's been dead 40 years. So, then I have two younger sisters. One is quite a bit younger. She's 14 years younger than I am. She lives in Danvers. She's quite up and coming. Been married twice. Both her husbands have died, though. She didn't get rid of them.
Okay. What was family life here? Did the family get together for big family dinners, or everybody was more on their own? Or?
Oh, no. We all sat down to dinner in the dining room. We ate in the kitchen here, but we always ate in the dining room. And while my mother was alive, we always had a maid. We had a gal that came in. She didn't live here, but she worked here. And you could get them very reasonable in those days. People don't have them today, but there were. Most everybody had somebody to keep house.
What did your family do in the home? Like in the evenings, did you read or?
Well, my father did. He had a little room upstairs. That's the one I said I had a typewriter in. And he studied and studied. He was really quite an intellectual. Oh, I have a brother too, but he never lived home. He was married. He never lived in this house. He's older than I am. He's still alive, too. Oh, I don't know. I used to go into Boston and take courses a lot. I never, I'm not the intellectual type. I took jewelry courses. I made some nice jewelry. I went to the Massachusetts College of Art and studied there. But I never really studied, and I like to work with my hands. I did go to Boston University and take up accounting. I think I went there a couple of years at night. And of course I had studied there too. And that really stood me in good stead, because when I came here, I said to the people in Georgia High, I'd like to study bookkeeping. And they said, oh, you can't, you don't write well enough. Because they did something called the Palmer method. You all in circles, and I didn't know the Palmer method. So they wouldn't get me. But they did teach me how to typewrite, which was something.
Okay. What did you do for social activity?
Well, I remember at one time I used to go horseback riding all the time. I went over to Brookline and went horseback riding. And then I found out, and this was in by the time we moved here, or before we moved here, when I was still living in Dorchester, about the Appalachian Mountain Club, and I thought I would like that. And so I found a couple of people to sponsor me. Today you don't have to be sponsored, but in those days they were fussy with it again. Today all they want is your money. Anybody can join. But in those days they were a little fussy. And they had walks, and they still do. Saturday afternoon walks. And on those days, when I first worked, we worked Saturday mornings. And so I would go in the well, and then I would maybe take another pair of shoes with me. And you have to meet somewhere, they tell you, because it was all mixed up with either a train or the bus and elevated, it was called in those days, not the MTA. And so you would just take a streetcar somewhere, and you'd meet all these people, and we'd go for walks in the country. And I met her over years. One of my best friends were all Appalachians. Although I kept up with some of the oldest people, but, well, we also went to the theater, we went to the ballet, they had a ballet, and we really, I belonged to the theater guild and had a ticket.
You were, as a member of the Appalachian Club, what was your role as a woman?
Well, it's still much like it is today. I think the whole time, and I have belonged since 25, over 50 years. They've had one woman president, that's all, in all those years. It's really, the committee seems to be quite for men, although there are a lot of active young women. But today, I don't even know the people. I'm 2 or 3 generations away from them, although I went to the annual meeting this year, but there's just a handful of people that I didn't know. There was a dinner at Northeastern, and the man I just didn't know at all.
Okay. What was some of your walks like? Where did you walk?
I don't know. We'd walk in the Blue Hills, and there's Middlesex Reservation, and I know I used to walk side here, and we used to walk around Western Reservoir. Now it is closed. They don't allow anybody there to walk. I left some walks for them. And we, all around, there's a great many walks around Boston. In fact, I bought a book. The Appalachians have a book and walks around Boston. We also had another walk we would take in sections, and we still do, from the Blue Hills down to Providence. It was called the Walnut Trail. It has to be relocated all the time because the trail will have housing lots and be built up, and they got to find a way around. Then the Appalachians have camp in the Blue Hills in Milton, Bunker Park. I used to go there, but I never go anymore, but I did.
You mentioned earlier to me that you went on mountain climbing. Could you tell us something about that?
Well, we did that weekends quite a bit. Not only did they have Saturday walks, they'd have weekends too. And you could go out and stay at Pinkham Notch maybe and do some climbing over the weekend. And we got nothing of that and coming home.
Could you describe some of them climbs, especially as a woman?
It doesn't make any difference when you're climbing, whether it's a woman or a man. There was just one that was kind of a bad one that I was on. I went up to New Hampshire, and a fellow that lived he drove me up. And so we went up on, it was the 11th of November, and it was kind of cold. And Pinkham at that time, have you been in the White Mountains?
No, yeah, a little bit.
Well, anyway, they have a nice lodge there now, but it wasn't so nice then. It was like portables, and they were chilly. And this girl said to me that I was rooming with, she was the only other girl. She says, you know, she says, you haven't brought any winter underwear. I said, well, it's in winter yet, it's only November. And so she said, oh my word. She thought if I was ever found dead, I'd have an awful time lifting it down. Well, anyway, I put on a pair of flannel pajamas. This used to be a story I told, but I'm not telling it the right way. So we did. There were 7 of us, 5 men and the 2 of us. And where it should have taken us 3 or 4 hours to climb Mount Washington, it took us 7 hours. We got caught in a storm, and we had a terrible time. Well, we stayed at the summit. You cannot do it any longer, but in those days you could camp up there. There was a house. And we knew the meteorologist. He didn't happen to be there, though. He was down below. So next morning, it was beautiful and cold, and we were walking down, and we met him. He was an Italian fellow, and he told us somebody had died following us. And sure enough, somebody really had died. So I didn't like climbing in the winter much after that. I would take to snowshoes, so we went skiing a lot. But I never did any winter climbing. That was enough. To see them bring down a dead body, that was enough.
So this was quite a shock to you then.
However, I have climbed all the mountains in New Hampshire, over 4,000 feet. And it's going to be this year that will be the 25th anniversary. I forgot all about it, of the time they gave me a something to say I had climbed all the 4,000ers. There was 46 of them. Well, in those days, the ones that completed it, we were staying at a hotel that's no longer there. We were a bunch of us for a week. And so I had driven into Plymouth to get some champagne. So when I came down from the mountain, which was my last mountain, that night I was going to treat them all to champagne. Well, there was another person, and she was on the same mountain, had an awful time, really. And the fellow that was leading it was her boyfriend, and I guess he calmed her on the way down and proposed to her. So they used my champagne to announce their engagement. So she asked me, they still have this fall hiking group. Are you going? Well, I may go for a few days. She says, because it's the 25th anniversary of our engagement and the 25th anniversary of when you completed your 4,000ers, and we use your champagne to announce the engagement. So I'll have to go up. Now they're going to the Eagle Mountain House.
Okay. What other activities, social activities, were there, let's say, in Auburndale?
Well, there weren't any as far as I was concerned. I merely went to work and lived here. And my father, I think, joined the Auburndale Club, and he says, why don't you go there? They have dances sometime, but I don't know, we didn't bother. There was an Auburndale Club. In fact, there was one until a few years ago. Now it's a theater. But there was nothing in Auburndale. At one time I think when I first came here, I went to the Congregational Church, And there were a group of gals I met. And we used to play. We didn't play bridge, but we played cards or some kind of funny games, you know. And we used to meet. And we met for quite a few years. Then, I don't know, my people were Episcopalians, so I didn't go anywhere. Lately I've been going to the Episcopalian church, though, occasionally. But there was, when I retired, I joined the Auburndale Women's Club, and I also joined the Auburndale Garden Club. So there are those things that go along, and I've been quite active in the Women's Club particularly.
How about, there was a place not too far from here called the Totem Pole.
Oh, yes. Well, of course, the Totem Pole was in a place called Norumbega Park. And Norumbega Park had carousels and merry-go-rounds and all kinds of things. And they also had a zoo for a while. And the people used to flock out in the open cars that would go to Lake Street, where Boston College is, and take the open cars out to Norumbega Park. In fact, I think the streetcar company built the park as an attraction, you know. I think they were doing it in those days. So then they built the Totem Pole. At one time, before it was the Totem Pole, it was a theater. And I don't think it paid too well. So they made it into a dance hall. But it was a bit different because where the theater, as I remember it, came up, they put davenports and lights. And so between dances, you could sit in a davenport with your boyfriend. You had to go in couples. They didn't allow only couples. And there was no beer or anything like that. They might have had some ginger ale. But it was a very nice place to go. So all the mothers didn't mind their daughters going to the Totem Pole. And they really got the big bands to go there too. And you could tell when the Totem Pole was closing, all the traffic come up the street, you see. But it was a nice place to go, and very nice inside with all these lamps and davenports.
Was it a very expensive place, or?
No. I don't know what it cost, I've forgotten. But it was very reasonable. It was where high school kids could go and take their girlfriends. I mean, it was within the means of everybody. I suppose when they had a famous big band, maybe it cost more. I forgot.
Could you remember some of the big bands that visited?
No, I remember one, or forgotten. He made a lot of noise. I'll think of it at some time. He was kind of famous, and I had a record of his. Spike Jones, that was it. So this, well, we were a bit older by then, and this man took me because he liked Spike Jones, and they all looked at us because we were like the father and mother among all the kids. But he wanted to hear Spike Jones, so that's why we went. Because actually it was a very youthful place.
Okay, just wrapping it up. Can you think of any particular thing that we might have skipped that you wanted to talk about?
No, the Auburndale has changed quite a bit. You see, it was more of a village at one time than it is now. And of course, the toll road came through, and that made a big difference to Auburndale. They resisted it for quite a while. We had a station down there that was built by Richardson. Have you ever heard of him? He's quite a famous architect around here. Have you been in Boston? This Trinity Church at Copley Square. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Well, he was the architect for Trinity Church. And he built quite a number of these railway stations, and Auburndale was one of them. Of course, it was all torn down. Now, at one time when I traveled, I could check my suitcase, or whatever I had. Sometimes I would go west. I'd check it through to Auburndale. And I just ride that to Auburndale, pick it up. And after a while, because we had a station master, and we even had, you sent telegrams from there too. You know, we had a telegraph this, and he wanted to send a telegram, you were going down there, and they'd send a telegram. And they had a station man that sold all the tickets, and that met all the trains that came through. Then I think after a while, if I checked baggage, I had to go to Newtonville, because some of the trains that would carry baggage wouldn't stop at Auburndale any longer. And so I did go to Newtonville. But at Newtonville, I could really take my suitcase and check it out west. And now, I don't know if you can check anything. Certainly not there, because the station's gone. Of course, they took down all the stations. They wanted to discontinue local train service too, but people wouldn't allow it. So they used to have 4 tracks. Now they only have 2 tracks. And of course, they had to take a lot of houses, mow all the way to make the turnpike as it is today. However, I don't mind, because where I had to walk to the station, get on a train, and walk from South Station, I can get a bus at my door that will take me to Jordan Marshes in 20 minutes. I no longer.
So you don't miss the train all that much?
Oh, I haven't been on a train for years and years. Even when the train was, well, they still go, but I would drive to Riverside and park the car and get on that way. But now, you can do it better. I can get on a bus right at my door. And it was on the turnpike. So that's very simple.
So that's it?
So, do you think you have enough?